one.
Okay, welcome everybody to our Sharpen the Saw. This one's more of a bread for the head kind of a discussion this morning. We're going to discuss how are we going to keep up with this fast-paced market. We've got so many demands on our time right now. It's unbelievable. We've got more pendings than we've ever seen. We've got lead conversion. You know, I'm sure we've got issues there. I'll call them issues. We're trying to juggle our current clients' demands and their calendar deadlines along with our lead conversion tactics. And oh my gosh, we're running with the pedal all the way down. How do we keep up with this? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be referring to the four. Whoops, backwards, like a reverse mirror. We're going to be referring to the 4DX book. That's a staple. If you don't have it, make sure you get it. It's called the 4 Disciplines of Execution. It tends to be one I refer to a lot. We're trying to get our goals set and focus on our task at hand. So we're going to do that, and we're going to talk about the fundamentals of running a marathon. I'm curious, will you put in the chat if you've ever run a half marathon or a full marathon? I'm just curious, those who may have done that. Go ahead and put that in the chat and let me know. And if I don't know if you want to put where you ran it, that'd be kind of cool. My first full marathon was St. George, which was billed as a downhill marathon. Now, if you've ever run the St. George Marathon, you know that there's a massive stretch called Dameron Valley. I think it's appropriately named Dameron Valley. So yeah, because there's a stretch at about mile 8 that goes to mile 14, and you traverse down, and then this ominous hill just climbs forever. And you seriously look at that thing and think, what did I sign up for? I thought this was a downhill marathon. And it can be really mentally sapping to look at that mountain. It's like the desert landscape even magnifies it. I don't know. I don't know how it does that, but if there were some kind of trees or something tall, maybe it would hide how steep and long this is. Dameron Valley is certainly the place where people quit and, ride the truck down the mountain. And we saw plenty of that. Yeah. So let's see. How many of you have run? Let's see, Michael Hurd, Salt Lake Half, Jeff, 3 marathons, Karen, Tara, I watched one. Okay, well, they're inspiring too to watch them. Actually, if you've ever been to a finish line and watch a marathon, it's really inspiring to watch people cross, right? Yeah, it's incredible. You know what I would say when I've watched some of those marathons, I would say to people, I say, you realize they're running at this point of the marathon, they're running as fast as they can go. And they're really not running that fast, because that's all they got left. There's nothing left. Bob, San Francisco, Hannah, let's see, I've done a full and a half Steamboat, Colorado, Phoenix from Kate, Angie's done St. George, California, Salt Lake, Norm, has run once, Dawn, Sally. Great. We got a lot of this. We got a lot of those who could relate today. So good. Well, I applaud you for that. I think a marathon should be on everyone's kind of bucket list. If you've never done one, give it a try. It'll teach you a lot about yourself. And I played around with writing a book called The Things You Can Learn About Business from Running a Marathon. And there's so many good principles here, and how we go about preparing and how we go about dividing up such an ominous task down into something that's workable. Okay, grab your notes, guys. I'm not going to do a lot of build up and running start at this. I'm just going to get right to the tips on how we're going to manage all of this. Okay, everyone got something to write with? Yes, nod your head. Yeah, because we've got no materials today. So let's put this one, the topic for today. So if you want the headline, it's, I think I put this in the email. How do we keep the pace, right? So how do we keep the pace? So wouldn't it be nice if back in February and January, when we had our planning meetings, that everyone would have done what Will said to do? Wouldn't that be great? Because we were laying conduit then. See, let me jump to one of the top points. So let's talk about something that we need to get in place. Well, actually, hold on a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to give the marathon fundamental, then I'm going to give the real estate business parallel. Okay. Okay. So tips on how to cope with fast-paced demands. All right. First of all, so we create a finish line. So how far is the marathon, the full marathon? Yeah, Angie just said it, 26.2. if you can read lips, 26.2. Now, if you ever run the 26.2, let me tell you, you're not happy about the 0.2. I'm telling you that right now. When you get to 26, you wonder whose idea was this to have the 0.2, because you're done, you know? So, but it's 26.2, and that sets a finish line. So what could be a real estate or business principle when we set a finish line in business? Why would that be a good thing to manage if we had a finish line? Hit me up. What do you think? Set a goal. So we've got an objective. We have a target. Keep them coming. Be participants. Don't multitask. We're going to talk about that. Covey says multitasking, it's shallow working, right? We need to go deep today. So just pause. I promise we will not go over an hour. Okay, very good. So you're staying focused, you're staying organized, you're pacing yourself, good. Yeah, have you ever had a struggle where you didn't know when it was going to end? COVID? When will this end? I miss my movies, my football. Come on, I want to be around people. Yes, when will this ever end? And our faith is tested. You know, there's a great principle about faith. It's not faith if you already know where the finish line is, okay? But see how nice it is if we can set a finish line. And here's the business principle. So write this down. We got to plan our rest. Wow, the first thing Coach Will's going to say this morning is plan rest. Yep, we're going to plan rest. In a marathon, we have aid stations. Aid stations have bananas. Aid stations have Gatorade. They have water, and they have fans. All the things you need, right? And I learned something about myself. I cannot run through an aid station. Like some people can. They can run, grab the water, drink while they're running. I can't do it. I gotta walk fast, and I can't run and drink at the same time. Found myself choking. But you take advantage of the stops along the way. Okay. So what am I getting at here? If we don't pace ourselves, and if we don't plan our rest, and we don't disconnect from time to time, the wheels are going to come off, right? You're going to hit the end. And there's actually, there's people who do this in marathons, and sometimes you'll see them. They start off too fast, or they don't stop for the aid stations, and they're not prepared for it, and they bonk is what it's called, right? And they just blow up, and now they can't run at all. So it's not even run at a slow pace. They're toast. They're done. They have to walk. You know. So we want to avoid that, and so we want to plan our rest. Okay. All right. Let's do the next marathon principle. Is to train. So today is training. This is bread for the head. We train. You've heard me say this before, so write this down. We keep studying, because you become what you study. So if look, just a little self-analysis here. How many of you find yourself habitually studying something that could help your business on a daily basis? If you're studying on a daily basis, I commend you. You're on the right path. Now, if you're not, don't feel, let's just change that, okay? Change your morning, change your life, improve your morning, improve your life, improve your morning, improve your business, improve your business, improve your life. See how that works. So you become what you study, and I'd encourage you to continue to have a love for learning and study, study, study. Okay, so that's the training piece. You've got so many resources right now. All these coaching sessions are recorded. You can fast forward through my mumble jumble, get right to the point if you want. And it's we can do that. Okay. Number 3 is eat well. I know you probably didn't wake up this morning going, I want some real estate coaching, and now I've got someone telling me I got to eat well. Well, I'm telling you, if you don't make it a priority to treat your body as a priority, we're going to have a problem. Okay. We have to make physical health a top priority. So if you eat well, you feel well. If you exercise, you feel well. Yeah. Jill's saying it's only body you'll ever have. And so, take care of it. So yes, we've got to do that, guys. So be careful about what you're eating and when you're eating. When we're running really fast pace, occasionally we'll hear people say, well, I'm just going to grab a coffee or a Coke. I need some caffeine. I'm not going to lecture anyone today about caffeine. That's not my point. But I'd monitor how much intake and when you take it. If you're taking caffeine too late in the day, it's going to have a problem with you sleeping. So be very careful of chocolates and things like that. So just look, and this is what I tell myself. Because if I'm waning a little bit in the afternoon, I get the same temptations everybody else has. And I sometimes think I'm just going to go grab something with caffeine in it and boost up everybody. Well, then guess what? 11 o'clock, I'm in bed and I can't get to sleep. And so that doesn't work. Okay. Here's the next one. In a marathon, we often have a mentor or a running coach or a friend, and we buddy up. So if you're struggling to stay on course, buddy up. Get somebody who wants the same thing you do. You can go through the trials together, and you learn from each other, and you keep each other motivated. This is a big one. Write this one down. Keep your own pace. Okay, we've got a lot of diversity in this company. We've got agents who've got 20 deals under contract. We've got agents who have 100 million under contract right now. Teams at the same. Don't get caught up in that. The comparison can be very self-destructive. We get too hard on ourselves. Yes, comparison is a thief of joy. Thank you, Leslie. Very good wisdom. But look, we can learn from each other, can't we? Of course we can. How do they do it? What do they do? What's the pitfalls? What's the advantages? That we can do. There's an answer to every question. Okay, even if that means keep searching, there's still an answer. So be careful of the comparison. Okay. Next one, stop at aid stations. So what's an aid station in business? What do you think an aid station might be? When I say stop at the aid stations, hit the chat. Lunch breaks. Okay. Jennifer, very good. Trainings, coachings. Yeah, great. Perfect. This is an aid station. Yeah. Delegate, asking for help. Good. Sales meetings. Very good, Karen. Go to the pool, swim. Yeah, get some exercise. Get out, sleep. Take in the beauty. Watch what psychiatrists often say about treating depression, and there's a lot of fundamentals in that. They'll say, stop the consumption of news. Interesting. Or minimize the consumption of news. I actually applaud NBC. I had recorded NBC. I wanted to see a couple of things that were going on with the election to be educated voter. And their ending story was really amazing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a gal who was in her late 30s, and about 15 years earlier, she was arrested for DUI. She was an alcoholic. She was at rock bottom. Her husband, her friends, her family were beside themselves. She went into treatment, and she was recovered. And 15 years went by. When she was arrested by a police officer who was pretty blunt with her and said, hey, you know, you got to get yourself cleaned up. Anyway, because of that arrest, she went to jail, and it started this whole process, and she eventually recovered, and she was about 12 years sober. Well, she's going through Facebook, and a friend of hers had posted a picture of a gentleman that said that actually, she posted that there was a person who needed a kidney. Did anyone see this story? That he needed a kidney. And she said, I'll quote, "The Holy Spirit told me I have this man's kidney," not knowing who the man was. So she contacts the friend who had posted and shared the picture and said, I have this man's kidney. And come to find out, it was the police officer that had arrested her 15 years earlier. And she was a match, and they did the surgery, and it was successful, and he recovered, and she recovered, and can you believe that? Now, that's the first time in a long time the news gave me something that I could use, you know, something I could use, because it just seems like the negative is so amplified. So we got to be careful of what we get in our heads, you know? I mean, life is good. There's a lot of good people in the world, and there's a lot of good news. Now, we just don't see it often through the media. That's all. But it does happen. Okay, sorry, I got on I thought it was a good story. Okay, the next one is run tall, right? This one is one of my favorite things to talk about, run tall. In marathons, if we were in a room right now, I'd show you this, but my running coach would say, you keep your chin back and your head straight up. It's like you're trying to be tall. You know, he'd say, run like you're trying to be really tall. And I would say, well, I'm not very tall. He said, well, I want you to think tall. I said, believe me, I've been trying to think tall since I was in middle school. And, but yeah, so you try to run tall. Now what happens is that makes for better endurance, and your energy's better because you're not leaning forward. When you lean forward, there's too much pressure on your back. Okay. What does that mean in business and real estate to run tall? So here we are. Pendings, client details, due diligence, financing and appraisal. The closing's coming up. Who's got the copies? Where's the inspector? We've got to write the repairs. We've got to negotiate this. Oh my goodness, the lender just called. They don't have that. And oh, there's someone you haven't called back who's interested in seeing one of your listings. So what would run tall have to do with any of this? Confidence, position, one step at a time. Preach, Jill, preach it. Preach it, Will, preach it. So to me, this is all about character. Running tall is all about character. So these are principles like honesty and integrity, and doing the thing that's forthright, and we act in good faith, and we're a good fiduciary. And what matters to them matters to us. And there's heart behind it. Running tall to me is running with heart and integrity and honesty. That's what it means to me. It allows me to do things for long periods of time because I remember my why. When I remember why I'm at this, I can go for long, long periods of time. Okay? Running tall. Okay, I'm going to pause for a sec, guys. And Joe, I'm going to share this video, and you're going to, so I'm going to hit share screen, right?
Yep, and then the little two check boxes at the bottom says optimize for video, and the one that says share computer sound.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, my screen is a mess.
I think we're made to run. You know, we have these long legs for a reason. They're made to be used, and we're not forced to use our legs anymore.
The marathon is 26 miles, 385 yards, or 42.2 kilometers.
It's the perfect distance to truly test the human physiology, basically because of the amount of sugar we can have in our tanks.
He has come to an emotional and physical...
It's really a brutal distance, and the slightest things can make it a great event or make it disastrous.
But at some point in the marathon, the distance is greater than the human ability to physically transcend it.
So you go through that sort of mental struggle and physical struggle, and you say, geez, this is really, really hard, you know. What's going on now between Dick Beardsley and Alberto Salazar?
When I crossed that finish line, I had absolutely nothing left. I was completely shot and done.
You triumph over the adversity. That's what the marathon is all about. And therefore, you know there isn't anything in life that you can't triumph over after that.
I decided to take on the challenge of the marathon. I think I felt the need, you know, it's the distance you need to complete. I felt like, you know, I'm really a runner now and I can do this. This is my first marathon. The reason I started running was that I had gotten severely out of shape. By the time my marriage came to an end, I guess I just decided that it was time to do something to get back the person that I used to be.
People ask me why I run marathons. I run it for the t-shirt. And they say, what do you mean? And I say, because that's my very subtle way about saying, hey, I did something that I feel that most people can't do.
You know, marathon is not a simple job. It's miles and miles. It's 26 miles. It's 42 kilometers.
You get a sense of kinship with these elite runners. You're running in their footprints, and that's awesome.
There are a few times when I've gotten a little panicky, and I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be running for 4+ hours. What was I thinking? That's insane.
I get a little panicky. What in the world? 4 hours? What was I thinking? Okay. Let's look at some more parallelism between all of this. It can be pretty daunting keeping all the plates spinning, you know? It can be pretty daunting looking at everything that's in front of us. We've got to own something here, and write this one down. This is all about mindset. So no negative thoughts. I'd concede something that the negative thought is a human just experience, but so just don't entertain it. don't set up tents in negative noise town. Don't make it permanent. Get it out of there. You know, so how do you eject negative thoughts, like things like I can't do it, it's too much? How do you reverse that? How do you undo that when it just seems like it's just going to be too hard? How do you do it? What's worked for you? What do you do? Take one step, do one thing. Good, keep them coming, guys. Remind myself of things I've accomplished in the past. Great. The end goal, prayer, very good. One of my favorites. Take one day at a time. Change my story. Yes. Oh my gosh, we believe the story we tell ourselves, right? Yes, remember my why, and it's compelling. If we had an affirmation today, it'd probably start off with something like, you know what? I do hard things. I can do hard things. I've done them in the past. I can do them now. So I can do this. So underneath this whole thing about no negative thoughts and mindset, write gratitude. So gratitude is the ability to take an inventory of everything that's going well. And, you know, it's the antidote. It's the medication for injury that's to our mindset. When we get injured in our mind about things we think, we need to medicate that. And when we do well with gratitude, that's a great medication. So it's an inventory. I've got a great company. I got great peers. You know, we've got great resources. There's people who can help me. If I don't know the answer, I know where to go. I love people. My heart is good. My reasons why are great. They're in line. I love what I do. You know, that's really good gratitude. And that's a great way to get yourself through the really fast-paced whirlwind we're in. Jill's comment about have no fear. You know, most fear is fake. Remember that. Almost all of it is fake. It's really, you know, most every time what we're afraid of is not reality. You know, how many times you experienced that? Like you were afraid of blank, right? Thanks, Kate. You're afraid of something, and then later on, when you got through it, you look back and, well, that wasn't anything at all. You know, so we got to make sure we keep our affirmations and our mindset right. See, I told you this is really good bread for the head. So a lot of us, the reason I love that, okay, write this down too, guys. The trailer I just played is called Marathon, the Spirit of the Marathon is the movie. And it's just, there's a trailer that's just 6 minutes long. It's the entire movie kind of packed into one. It's really inspirational. When we're done, I think you should watch the whole thing and see if you can pull out more pieces. The Spirit of the Marathon movie is a movie about 5 individuals who go on this journey to run a marathon, and some have run it many times, some are professional runners, and some are running it for the very first time. And they have different reasons, and maybe the marathon is business, and maybe all of us have our different reasons and why, and we're all involved in this journey of this distance. And we may have similarities across the board, but we have some differences too. And so we can learn from each other and how we cope and how we plan and how we go about about our days. Okay, here's another principle. When you're running a marathon, you look forward. It's actually really hard to look back when you're running forward. Have you ever noticed that? So think about that lesson. It's really hard to turn around and look behind you. You kind of have to turn your hips and kind of, you know, do the, in football, you have to do the reverse pedal, you know, and it's hard to do. So what do you think this lesson's about? Look forward. What could this be? So here's a marathon principle. You know, we run tall, we look forward, you know. So what do you mean what does that mean? Like, if I look down, that could be a problem, right? If I'm looking down at my feet, my head would be like this, right? But if I looked up, why is that principle a good one for real estate? Leslie, we're being optimistic. Good, we put the past behind us, especially those, I missed that lead, I missed that listing, right? We got to move forward. And I think it's an excellent principle. Stay focused on the goal ahead. Yeah, be confident. Yeah, very good. Very good. So we look forward. We keep our eyes on the future. We don't look down. We keep our heads up. We don't dwell on mistakes or missed opportunities. Okay. One of my one of my running coaches, we were doing half marathons a lot. I must have run a couple of dozen half marathons. It's kind of it's a great distance for me because it doesn't sap so much time to prepare. But I wanted to win my age group. And so, okay, if we're going to try to win the age group, I mean, I get competitive. And he said, so here's the principle: pass on the uphill. So pass on the uphill. What could that mean in business? So here we are, it's really steep. And my running coach is saying, that's when you pass. So what's that about? What do you think? Pass on the uphill. Thumbing through the pages here. Good to see all you guys participating. Nicole from Moab, Debbie's on, Paige is on, Kelly's on. Good to see all you guys. So why do we pass on the uphill? Do more than the other guy, okay? Okay, keep the momentum, keeping the pace. When the going gets tough get going, good. We're going the extra mile. It's downhill from there. You gather speed, be resilient, Kara says, keep going, others slow down. So yeah, when you're looking around and you see people are really struggling, I mean, maybe that's the time to really push, right? Because see, isn't this a mindset thing? This is how I look at it, okay? If I see everybody struggling, I got a choice to make. Oh, I'm struggling too, right? I guess it is really hard. This is a really hard hill. Or I can look around and say, let's go. Let's do this. There's nothing in this hill we can't do. See, but that's a choice, you know? What Dirk Zeller, who I got to know during my time as broker, I got to know Dirk Zeller. He's a great real estate coach. And he would say, Will, you know what the endeavor here is we have to learn to love to prospect. And I thought, but agents don't like that. A lot of them don't, right? He goes, yeah, but the ones that are good at it, really good at it, they learn to love the hunt for the lead and the hunt, and they learn to love making new friends, and they love doing that. And again, that's a mindset. It's just how you're going to take it in. Some are going to look at this and go, it's too much, and others are going to look at it like, no, I got this, I can do this, and they forge ahead. And so I remember that when I come up to these hills and I'm giving about all I've got. You know, the last time I raced a race was because Angie Larkin challenged me to a half marathon. And I'm just telling you, I wasn't going to lose. So I looked at my running watch after it was all over, and don't do this, but I averaged like 185 beats a minute. Yeah, that's too much. Leslie went, wow. Yeah, that's not healthy. And I kept having this fear that Angie was like right behind me. You know, at any minute I'd turn around and she'd be like, hi, Will. Hi, how are you? And I'd be like, what? So in my head, I was being pushed by Angie because and so I was really competitive. But I get to the hill and I'm already giving, when you run, you keep a pace. And so I'm probably giving about 80%, right? Because you can't go sprint 13 miles, right? So up comes the challenge, and there you find a little bit more, just a little bit more, and you find yourself passing people on the uphill. That's the last time I'm going to race any race. So no, Angie, I'm not going to race again. Yeah, but you can, hey, what? Okay, here's an image for you. Downtown Phoenix. It's June. On the street in front of us are workers working on the road. By the way, it's 112 degrees. you look at their faces, they're wore out. They don't look too happy. Turn to your right, and there's folks playing tennis. And they're happy. And people signed up for a marathon. What? I mean, they chose it. They wanted to spend their Saturday doing that. What's that about? Right? Isn't that amazing? Because the effort's the same. The energy's the same. The guys working on the road, they had to do it. They must do it. They didn't find joy in it, and they're not happy about it. And probably their work shows it, I would imagine, right? But everybody else over on the tennis courts at 112 degrees, they're laughing. You know, hey, that was a good shot. They're having a ball. Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, they're sweating, but they're just loving it, right? And everyone's running the marathon, and they chose to do it. And I always look around going, there's other crazy people like us, Ange. Look at all these crazies. You know, Salt Lake Marathon gets what, 8,000 people, 6, 7, 8,000 people. It's impressive. That video was Chicago, and they get like 40,000 people. It takes a mile of walking to get to the starting line. And everyone chose that. I wonder if we could find in ourselves that excitement and joy about the things that we're about doing, you know? Maybe we can. Maybe we could do better at that and love it, right? That's my other principle here is enjoy each mile, each transaction, each lead, each conversation, all the processes, every social media post, every marketing, every resource center piece that you send out, every database input, all of those things. Find a way to enjoy every task and every step. Let's be more like the tennis players and the marathon runners than the road crew. Okay. So that's all I've got on the marathon. That's my bullet points. Was that helpful? I'm going to throw in, I've got a brain teaser on Repsy that I want to hit you with next, if that's okay. You guys all right with that? Okay. But I wanted to hit one more thing that on the, I got it on the 4DX. Okay. Before I pivot entirely out of this bread for the head. So how many of you have this book? You got it? Yeah, okay. So that's weird. My camera is over on one side and it's not over here. I don't understand why that is. But great book. And it got me thinking this morning. Look, on my notes I wrote down, I wanted to make sure I told you. Let me let's pose a question. You can only make one choice here. You're either going to call back a current client who left you a message, or you're going to call a lead back that could be potential future business. Who do you call? Let the great debate begin. So Will said you can only make one call, and you can either call a current client who left you a message and said, could you please call me? Or you can call a lead that might be a future client. So you guys can read these like I can. So I'll let you read the chats there. It seems like we're pretty heavy on the current client, but maybe some of you are wanting to know, well, what does Will think? Well, if I truly could only make one call, it's got to be to the current client. But perhaps the best answer here is both, right? Have our cake and eat it too. But I posed it that you could only make one call to bring an emphasis that our current clients matter. But the trouble is, if we don't get, look, I'm going to draw this out. That is the income roller coaster. On the upside, lead conversion, lead conversion, lead conversion, clients, clients, under contracts, closed. And then what happens? So if we don't want to ride this roller coaster of income, then we've got to be good at doing both. So that's the problem, isn't it? We've got to find a few more minutes, a few more pieces of energy that we can get to lead conversion. You can't lead convert, then clients, then serve, then close, and then go back to lead conversion. Okay? All right, so that's one. The other one is if you just can't get to the lead, you got to get it referred. Okay? Please, 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 please refer leads you don't have time for. How many on this call right now have bandwidth to handle more leads? You have the bandwidth to handle more than you're getting? Okay. So look, guys, look at all these agents who are there ready to convert the lead. Okay, if you're on the receiving end, be thrilled to pay a referral fee. Thrilled, 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 right? Frankly, it's not that much. It's not that much to pay. In Relo, some of these referral fees are reaching almost 40%. Okay? Most of our referral fees internally from agent to agent are 25%. Okay, so be happy to receive a referral at 25%. Those who are sending them, don't overthink it. All right, if the cup spilleth over, if the assembly line is coming too fast, don't overthink it. If you don't have time to get to it, just refer it out. Okay? Just get it out and get someone converting that lead. If you don't know who to send it to, we talked about this back in February about laying the conduit of referrals. So get an agent or two that you trust, that you work well with, you can refer business to. Okay? Get that going. Write that down if you don't have that as a task, because that's time well spent today if you don't have your referral conduit laid. Okay, next. Be very, very careful about time-sucking activities, okay, with low effectiveness. In the book execution here, you need to know the difference in leading measure and lagging measures. Lagging measures are closings, listings, buyers, contracts, things that have already happened. Lagging measure. We celebrate lagging measures. Our top closing agent that's lagging measure. Pendings, lagging measure. But the leading measure are the things that cause those things to happen. Things like good prospecting skills, and that there's a gamut of those, right? But it's our contacting on lead conversion that cause those to happen, okay? So make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself with tasks that don't lead to a leading measure that we can track, okay? And I'll just put you on task to read more about that in the book, okay? On this particular page, page 29, Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, talks about this. Apple is the biggest company in the world, okay? He says, we are a focused company. Focused company that I know of, and we have read of and have any knowledge of. He's just saying how great he is, patting himself on the back. We say no to good ideas every day. We say no to great ideas in order to keep the amount of things that are focused on a very small number so that we can put enormous energy behind the ones we choose. Even Apple cannot do it all, right? So you've got to get down to the finite, and you got to pick your leading measure activities that actually mean something, okay? So be very, very careful about spinning your wheels, okay? He says the table each of you are sitting on today, we could probably put every product on that Apple makes on one table, and our revenues last year were 40 billion. All the products, one table, laser focused. They say no to a lot of things. You can't say yes to everything. Okay, you can't say yes to everything. When you say yes to one thing, you simultaneously say no to a lot of others. So make sure what you say yes to really matters, right? Make sure what you say yes to really, really matters. Okay. Is that good? I'm going to put a bow on that. Tie it up. It's all pretty. Time to go out. Ready? Here's the next one. Rep C, brain teaser. Okay. I want you to write down, let's think about the Rep C and what's included, but I'm not talking about included items. I'm talking about money concessions in the Rep C. From seller to buyer, write them down. What are they? What are the money concessions in the Rep C? Write them down. Let's expand it and say money concessions in transactions. So add some more. Money concessions that happen in transactions. I gotta shut my door, hang on. Okay, you got some? Okay. All right, raise your hand if you had title insurance. Okay, seller pays a financial benefit to the buyer in order to compensate them and provide title insurance. Okay? Now, I think we might take that for granted sometimes, just think, oh, that's the way it is. Well, because of the legalities of clearing title and the potential liabilities from a seller not clearing title, then it makes sense for that to kind of fall on the seller's ledger. But that is a benefit to a buyer. It is a policy where the buyer is the beneficiary. Okay? So imagine if I bought a policy for you, I paid for it, but you're the beneficiary. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? Like if I bought everyone life insurance. Yeah? My wife got a lot of life insurance on us, and then she's like, yeah, you should get a motorcycle. Have you ever considered skydiving and stuff? How about free diving with sharks? No, look, the seller is buying a policy in which the buyer is a beneficiary. So that's one. So how many of you had that? Raise your hand. Okay, good. I'm going to get a running start at something here to put a caboose on a conversation we had last week. What's another financial concession that we find in transactions? What's another one? Hit on the chat this time. Hit on the chat this time. Financial concession paid for from seller to buyer. Home warranty. Very good, Leslie. You're right on the money. Yeah, home warranty. Good. And we're getting a couple here. And then the homeowners association fees, very, very good. It's an included financial concession. Think about phrasing it differently. You're going to find numbers and negotiations are being tight right now, okay? So it's important that you understand the numbers. So we've got three so far we've talked about. We've got title insurance, we've got home warranty, and we have a homeowners association or transfer fees that can come up or special assessments. Let's put those together. Okay, everyone got those? Okay, that's buying something that benefits the other party. It's a cost to the seller. Okay, next one. Paige has got it. It got it right there. Closing costs. It's a fee that the lender charges the buyer, but the seller is going to pay that on behalf of the buyer. And you know, this can go up to 2.5%. That could be an enormous amount of money, right? $500,000 loan. We're looking at over $10,000 in which a seller could make a concession on behalf of a buyer, okay? And Susie, thanks for bringing that up. It's as if we planned it. This is my running start. All that was a running start. I told you all of that so I could tell you this, okay? Commission. But here is the thing, my wise, most professional agents on planet Earth, where is the commission found? Where is that commission found that it's a concession from the seller to the buyer. Okay, those who are saying, well, you could tell Sally is a veteran agent because she said HUD. The new term is closing disclosure. But yes, the HUD statement, the closing disclosure, it's there. Sally, there's another answer though. And then I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it yet. I mean, thank you for playing. Ron, you're getting close. You guys are really warm. Keep trying. It's not the listing agreement. It's found in something. It's inside of something. Remember, we're talking about numbers. Where is it found? If you were on the discussion last week, I showed you something on my screen. It's not the buyer-broker agreement. No, it is found in the closing disclosure, yes. That's the second best answer if we're playing Family Feud here. You're missing the top answer. And it's very, very, look, it's really important you get this, okay? Because it's gonna help give you logical ammunition against those who say, why won't you list it for less? Or why won't you get paid less? So Nicole, it is the BAC. Yes, that's what we're talking about, but where is that money found? Can you repeat the question? Okay, so the commission is found inside of something. What's it found inside of? I mean, man, you guys are all over the board. If we're playing darts, you've hit everything on there except for the bullseye. Savannah! Savannah! Where is Savannah? I got to see your face. Are you on here? Savannah. She got it. She nailed it. It's found inside the sales price. It's in there. The 3% is in the sales price. The reason I'm telling you that is because when we go to compare, remember I put the appraisal up last week and we looked at those sales prices across the top. Inside those sales prices is 3%. It's inside there. It's important that you understand that because when people want to get the benefit, right, of the comp sold for $1 million. Guess what was inside of it? 3%, right? But I only want to list for 5. Yeah, but we want to compare to what? See, the buyer got a 3% concession on their behalf to pay their agent, right? The buyer received a financial concession paid for by the seller in order to pay their agent. If the seller paid closing costs, the closing costs would be found inside the sales price. And the buyer got money concession to pay their lender. Right? Right? Okay, do another one. Inside the sales price, the seller paid a home warranty. It's inside the sales price. And from that, the buyer got a concession, but it was inside the sales price. You see what I'm saying? Title insurance. Where is that money? It's in the sales price. Wait. Where is it? It must be here somewhere. Oh, it's in the sales price. So when you're comparing apples to apples, this home had all these financial concessions. Does this one? In order for them to match up, they need to have all the same financial conditions and concessions, right? Right? That should be a light bulb, guys, to give you something to talk about when you're talking about objections with commissions. You can use the appraisal, right? And all the things we talked about last week. So maybe this one, Joe, should have a little disclaimer on our training website that says, please watch, previous training on appraisals before you watch this one. Okay. I promise you guys we would not go over a moment past 10:30. We're going to keep that. That was our short range goal. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I know that was quick and fast, And I'd love to hear more from you guys. Call me if you want to talk more about this. I pray that you'll be successful in keeping all your plates spinning. Take it one step at a time. Stop at your aid stations. Keep yourself healthy. Mind your mindset, right? Keep it positive. Enjoy the journey, okay? And we are worth it. We're worth every penny. Having you guys in a transaction lowers their liability and increases their odds of getting what they want, which is what matters most, a good property for their family. Okay? Have a great day, you guys. I love you all. I'll see you again soon. Call me anytime for help, okay? Okay, bye-bye. I'll stick around for questions if you want. Joe, you can end the recording.